So I have to admit, I've been really surprised by the number of conservatives celebrating Elon Musk and the purchase of Twitter. Is this really a good thing? And is Elon Musk really a champion of conservative values? We'll take a closer look on the Closet Conservative podcast. So by now you've heard Tesla CEO and self-made billionaire, I guess you could say, Elon Musk has decided to purchase Twitter. It was a billions of dollar deal, and it was really fought by social media giants. I mean, there have been criticisms of the deal on multiple fronts before the deal went through. And there's a lot of people on social media. I'm sitting here looking at it now. The Guardian, the Washington Post, and many others, they're fighting Elon Musk. They're waging an all-out assault on him. And it comes because Elon has taken the stance of being what many on the right are celebrating as a champion of conservatism. Now, let's be honest, Elon Musk is not a conservative. And if you really believe it's conservative, I draw your attention back to a June 16th tweet in 2018, where there was a conversation by Elon Musk in response to a joke. And in the first tweet, it was "no sense of humor," in quotations, is certainly proving itself to be true. Good grief, how many socialists does it take to screw in a light bulb? And he was being critical of something that happened. And he goes, in his second tweet, he says, "By the way, I am actually a socialist. Just not the kind that shifts resources from most productive to least productive, pretending to do good while actually causing harm. True socialism seeks greatest good for all." Now, by his own admission, he's a socialist. Now, the very foundations of socialism go against the teachings of any teachings of conservatism. So he can talk about being a socialist and not wanting to shift resources, but socialism is about government dependence. It's about, and he calls it the greatest good. So essentially, if it's better for you to be a ward of the state, he would support that. If it is better for you to be dependent upon the government for health insurance and other benefits, he would be good with that. He just doesn't want to talk about shifting of his money. You see, that's the way this works. He's all about something that improves or makes things better, but he just doesn't want to pay for it. Now, if you really think about Elon Musk here, you've got to be honest. If he's self-admitting to be a socialist and he's going through this billions of dollar deal and he is actually continuing to promote himself and living off the conservative movement, so to speak. The tone of Elon Musk's tweets have really transitioned in the last 2 to 4 years. In 2018, he was tweeting about being a socialist. As it got near the end of the Trump presidency, he started talking about freedom of speech. And a lot of people will argue that he has a more libertarian lifestyle or a libertarian focus at this point. And that may be true. I mean, Elon Musk may be more focused on, he may be more focused on freedom, so to speak. But don't believe for a moment that he's a conservative. Do not believe for a moment that he is a champion of conservative values. You see, what I think is the most likely situation here is that Elon Musk is building a business of capitalizing on conservatives. We've seen this before. We've seen other companies do this. We've seen Black Rifle Coffee do this. We've seen others that claim to champion conservative values, and when the rubber met the road, when it really got time to stand for conservatism, they were nowhere to be found. Elon Musk is preaching public trust and that it's got to be politically neutral, which on Wednesday he tweeted that. Twitter's got to be politically neutral. So is he favoring censorship of the right and the left? He also talked about Twitter being for freedom of speech. But then he says, I'm against censorship that goes far beyond the law. But he stopped short of saying he's not a favor of any censorship. So that's what the situation is here. Don't believe for a second that Elon Musk is a conservative. I actually think conservatives are making a huge mistake. They're celebrating Elon Musk, and I think a lot of conservatives are finding that they're celebrating something that is going to end up not being in their favor in the future. Elon Musk's track record is that of a liberal. Elon Musk's company, major company, Tesla, is founded on liberal values. I mean, and again, I'm all about recycling and things that can help promote a healthier environment, but electric cars are not great for the environment. We know that, and have all read these studies, if you're on the conservative side, that they could crash the power grid if there's too many too many electric cars, not conservative cars, too many electric cars out there. His entire business has been focused on liberal ideas and liberal an entirely liberal focus. In fact, PayPal has made headway for their liberal focus. And let's don't forget who founded PayPal. Now, granted, he's not involved anymore, but those cultural ideals don't just start overnight. And I know a lot of people are wanting to celebrate Elon Musk. He left California. He went to Texas. He's all about this, but he went to one of the most liberal places in Texas that there is. And the only reason that he left California is to escape the taxes. Doesn't mean he's conservative. Doesn't mean he has any concern whatsoever for conservative values. But we're celebrating him. We're celebrating him. So I would say that everyone should be careful. And in fact, on Wednesday, you've got to pay attention to what else he did. He attacked President Trump's own social media network. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Truth Social. Yes, I've been on the network. Yes, I know what it's there. But he's going after that as the head of Twitter now, talking about that it was a terrible name, that it shouldn't be that. Again, read through the lines. Pay attention to what's happening. Elon Musk is not a conservative. He's not a champion of conservative values. And when push comes to shove and conservatives become upset, they've all flocked back to Twitter. And when it comes down to it, they're all going to be disappointed, because I think they're going to find the exact same thing happens with Twitter, except I think that's going to be censorship on both sides. Now, before I go today, I want to say one more thing. So if you enjoy the podcast here, we talk a lot about conservative values and conservative ideals, and some of that revolves around faith. So one thing I want to mention before I go, I want to talk about a new project that we're working on, Another Well. It's Another Well Ministries, www.anotherwell.com. There you can find daily devotionals on the social media channels. There's encouraging photos. There's Bible studies. There's more things that a lot of conservatives appreciate. I also want to talk about a couple of the podcasts that we have going over there. We have a Christian Perspective podcast. It's a great new show that I'd love for you to go check out and subscribe to. We also have a Modern Christian podcast that's over there you can go check out and subscribe to. So I would encourage you, if you enjoy and appreciate that kind of content, please check it out. Another Well Ministries. You can find it on any of the social media channels. You can find the a Christian Perspective podcast anywhere you like to listen to podcasts. Same with the Modern Christian podcast. Love for you to go check those out, listen to them, subscribe, and definitely share that content. For at the end of the day, we talk about conservative values, but one of the things I've shared many times, the need in our country is not necessarily more government. It's not more red, not more blue. The biggest need in our country is more God. And so we feel like if we can reach more people and help them develop a stronger relationship with God, it will help our nation as a whole. So I just want to share that with all of you that are listening here today. Hope that you'll go check it out, subscribe to those podcasts, subscribe for the daily devotionals, or check out the Bible studies and the photos. I think you'll like it if you enjoy that kind of content. Until next time, don't fall for Elon Musk's trap. Remember, he's not a conservative. All material is copyright The Closet Conservative Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast and share our podcast with your friends. You can find out more information about our show on any of our social media channels.